It's time to talk Southland, and this has been a proud low major conference. 3 of their last 10 conference champions have gone to March Madness and won a game in the round of 64. In 2016, Stephen F. Austin was a bucket away from going to the Sweet 16. So this is not just a speed bump for the major players in March Madness to get an easy auto win and head to the round of 32. So where does it start this season? It's all about McNeese and Will Wade. Will Wade forced out of LSU, his tenure ending in Baton Rouge in basically the worst way possible. He's under the cloud of NCAA investigation, then he gets hit with some Tier 1 violations, gets a show cause penalty. It seemed as though he may need to go overseas to continue his coaching career, but he very quickly was able to turn things around, gets a job in the same state in Louisiana, and he's led McNeese to back-to-back SLC regular season titles and #1 seeds in the conference tournament. And that's critical because of the format. The top 2 teams get an auto bye to the semis, and McNeese will be playing this whole thing on their home floor. So the question comes down to price. There's really 3 teams that I think have the goods potentially, if everything shakes out right, to win this thing. McNeese, as I mentioned, minus 550, even for a team playing on their home floor, even for a team that has such a strong identity. When you look year over year, they lose Shahada Wells, but somehow they get even better on the defensive end. And a big part of it is they force turnovers, 19% of opponent possessions end in a turnover. They give up nothing in transition because they play at a very slow, methodical pace on the offensive end. Now, you can get the best of them in their front court, and that's where I turn to a team like Lamar. Lamar has the size to be able to take advantage of McNeese. They have 2 players over 6'9" in their rotation, and if they can beat them on the offensive glass and cut down on their turnovers, as they did in their March 1st meeting with the Cowboys, a 2-point loss there, I think that they could get over the hump. At 12-1, Lamar, I'll come back to them in just a moment. Let's talk about the other team, the 3 seed, who's going to need to win in the quarters, the semis, and the title game likely against McNeese. And that is Nicholls State, the only team to beat McNeese this entire season. And while I was excited to dig into some of their advanced stats, the thing of it is, yes, they beat McNeese, but in that game, the Cowboys shot 0 for 12 from 3-point range, and Nicholls State shot over 50%. That kind of 3-point variance is just not going to happen again, particularly with a bid to March Madness on the line on their home floor. I have more faith in McNeese than that. So let's look at Lamar once again. I talked about the front court, what they can do on the offensive glass, but it really comes down to Alexis Marmolejos. He is their primary ball handler. He's a knockdown 3-point shooter. He can get to the line upwards of 10 times in a game because he drives and is aggressive in transition. And he was able to handle the McNeese pressure. In the 2 meetings this year, he had 35 points, but critically just 4 turnovers. And he's a fearless kid. Early in the season, they went to College Station and played Texas A&M. He dropped 23 points on the Aggies in a losing effort. So I view him as the difference maker here. And at 12-1, I think there's a lot of value here because if you look at where the point spreads were set in the first 2 meetings with McNeese, I think this will probably come down 10, 11 point spread, and the money line would be in that plus 450, plus 475 window. Getting them at 12-1, needing only to win in the semis to get there, I think that's the way to go about it here. So I will pass on McNeese at minus 550. My official play is Lamar at 12-1 to win the Southland.